viewers, welcome to Way to Success Frame. We can explore more about the new kings and kingdoms from Chapter 2 of NCERT Class 7 History. Let's start. During the period of 7th and 12th centuries, many new dynasties emerged in different parts of the subcontinent. In the 7th century, there were big landlords or warrior chiefs in different regions. They were acknowledged as samanthas or subordinates of kings. Samanthas were expected to bring gifts and provide them with military support. They gradually gained power and wealth and thereafter declared themselves to be Mahasamantha or Mahamandaleshwar. For example, the Rashtrakutas in the Deccan was initially subordinate to the Chalukyas of Karnataka. Danti Durga, a Rashtrakuta chief, overthrew his Chalukya overlord and performed a ritual known as Hiranyagarbha. It was a ritual performed by the non-Kshatriyas to become a Kshatriya and a ruler. The main ruling dynasties in the Indian subcontinent were Gurjara Pratiharas, Palas, Rashtrakutas and Chahamans in North India, and the Chola, Pandyas and Chalukyas in South India. Some other lords like Kadamba Mayrasharman and Gurjara Pratihara Harichandra used their military skills to establish their kingdoms in Karnataka and Rajasthan. Many of new kings adopted high-sounding titles such as Maharajadiraj, Great King, Tribhuvana Chakravartin, Lord of the Three Worlds, etc. They often shared power with their samanthas as well as with associations of peasants, traders and brahmanas. The land was owned by the lords. So the producers, such as the peasants, cattle keepers, artisans were compelled to pay rent to the owners. Revenue was also collected from traders. These resources were used to finance the establishment of the king, construction of temples and forts, and also for fighting wars. Members of influential family were appointed by the king to collect revenue. These positions were often hereditary. In most cases, army positions were held by the close relatives of the king. Prashastis and land grants. Prashastis are a special kind of inscription. They were composed by learned Brahmins in praise of the rulers. Prashastis were not always true. It used to depict the rulers as valiant, victorious warriors. They were written to help in the administration. An important example is a Prashasti of Samudragupta. It is a poem in Sanskrit composed by his court poet Harisena. This was inscribed on the Ashokan pillar at Allahabad. Kalhana's long poem Rajtarangini in Sanskrit recorded the history of kings who ruled over Kashmir. He used a variety of sources including inscriptions, documents, eyewitness accounts, and earlier histories to present his accounts. His writings spoke the truth about the rulers and their policies. The kings rewarded Brahmanas by grants of land. These were recorded on copper plates. It is given to the people who received land. Warfare for wealth. Warfare was the way to control others' areas. Kannauj was located on the Ganga trade route. It made Kannauj strategically and commercially very important. During the 8th century AD, a struggle for control over the Kannauj took place among three major empires of India. The Palas ruled the eastern parts of India, while the Pratiharas controlled the western India. The Rashtrakutas ruled over the Deccan region of India. The struggle for power over Kannauj between these three dynasties is known as the tripartite struggle. Rulers used to build large temples in order to demonstrate their power and resources. So temples were the first target when one ruler attacked over the other. Sultan Mahmud of Ghazni was the ruler of Afghanistan. He extended control over parts of Central Asia, Iran and northwestern part of the subcontinent. He raided the subcontinent almost every year. Indian temples were depositories of great wealth. His later invasions were specifically directed to temple towns, including that of Somnath. The wealth that Mahmud carried away was used to create a splendid capital city at Ghazni. But he also wanted to know more about the people he conquered. So he appointed a scholar named Al-Biruni to write an account of the subcontinent. His book the Kitab al-Hind is regarded as one of the important sources for historians. Other kings engaged in warfare were Chauhan, who ruled over the region around Delhi and Ajmer. They made efforts to expand their control to the west and the east. Chauhans were engaged in conflict with Chalukyas of Gujarat and the Gardavlas of western Uttar Pradesh. Their greatest ruler was Prithviraj III, also called Prithviraj Chauhan. He defeated the Afghan Muhammad Ghori in 1191. But after 1 year in 1192, he was defeated by Ghori. It was the end of his rule. The Cholas. How did the Cholas rise to power? Muttriyar family held power in the Kaveri Delta. They were subordinate to the Pallava kings of Kachipuram. Vijayalaya Chola from Uriyur captured the delta from the Muttriyar in the middle of the 9th century. He built the town of Tanjavur and a temple for goddess Nisham Sudini there. The successors of Vijayalaya conquered neighboring regions, and the kingdom grew in size and power. The Pandyan and the Pallava territories to the south and north were made part of this kingdom. Rajaraja I considered as the most powerful Chola ruler. He also reorganized the administration of the empire. Rajaraja's son Rajendra I continued his policies and raided the Ganga Valley, northern Sri Lanka, and countries of Southeast Asia. The Chola rulers were great builders. The big temples of Tanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram were built by Rajaraja and Rajendra Chola. The temples were not only religious institutions, but served as centers of economic, social, and cultural life. The making of bronze images of the deities was the most distinctive of the crafts associated with the temples. Chola bronze images are still considered the best in the world. Agriculture and irrigation. The development of agriculture contributed much to the achievements of the Cholas. They made the best use of the river Kaveri, creating tributaries and building dams. Forests had to be cleared in some areas, while land had to be leveled in some other regions. Canals were constructed to carry water to the fields, and embankments were built to prevent flood. A variety of methods like digging of wells, placing huge tanks, were used for irrigation. The administration of the empire. How was the administration organized? The Chola system of administration was highly organized and efficient. There were 3 types of village assemblies in the Chola administration: Ur, Sabha and Nagaram. Settlements of peasants known as Ur. Groups of such villages formed larger units called Nad. Rich peasants of the Vellara caste controlled over the affairs of the Nad under the supervision of the central Chola government. They performed several administrative functions, including dispensing justice and collecting taxes. The Chola kings gave some rich landowners titles like Muvendvilan, means peasant serving 3 kings, and Ariyar means chief, etc. The Sabha was an exclusive Brahman assembly. Brahmins received land grants or Brahmadeya. A large number of Brahmana settlements emerged in the Kaveri Valley. Each Brahmadeya was looked after by an assembly or Sabha of prominent Brahmana landholders. The Sabha had separate committees to look after irrigation works, gardens, and temples. Names of those eligible members of these committees were written on small tickets of palm leaf. These tickets were put into an earthenware pot, from which a young boy was asked to take out the tickets, one by one for each committee. Their decisions were recorded in detail in inscriptions, often on the stone walls of temples. Nagaram is the assembly of traders and merchants. The commercial town under the rule of the Cholas were known as Nagaram. The merchants and the traders formed their own associations and organizations here. They also performed administrative functions in towns. Dears, this chapter discusses big landlords or warriors by the 7th century. Furthermore, it explores the emergence of new dynasties, administration in the kingdoms, warfare for wealth, and closer look to the Cholas. I hope this video will help you. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you.